we're gonna do a Christmas themed project. It is coming up on that time of year, so we got to get started. Now this one, what I've done, we're gonna do a couple of nativity scenes, two different versions. So the first one, I've drawn the shape of the stable right here. I'm going to cut a couple of those things out. And then what we do is we're going to cut a shape. Bear with me. So I've printed out a bunch of these. I just found this online, printed it out, and I'm going to have to do some modifications to it, and I'll show you that when we get there. But the cool thing with this is the scrap piece that we cut out of this will be used on the second project. So again, there's two different nativity scenes that I'm going to make today, and they'll use the same type of wood. You can use whatever you want. I have old fence pickets here. This one's a pretty thin one. I have a thicker one that I'm going to use for the second project, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. So I've cut 4 of these out. I'm going to cut 4 of this right here. Hold on. I'm going to take this, and it's going to get put right down at the bottom, and I'm going to cut this shape out on my scroll saw. But I'm going to stack all 4 and cut 4 at once. Now, if you're uncomfortable doing something like that, then don't. Just do 1 at a time, or do 2, whatever you want to do. Now, as I mentioned, I needed to do some adjustments, and I want to completely make this flat across the bottom, just like so. And you'll see why that's going to be here in a moment. Also, I don't like the way this looks. I want something just a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and make this cut, just like so. And you can see I've already started some of these. But that's what our cut's going to end up looking like. And it's going to be empty at the bottom, just kind of flat, and then you're going to be left over with this piece. Don't throw this piece away, because this is going to be used for the next project. This isn't complete here, just so you can get an idea, so you can get a sense of where we're going. This is what this will end up looking like. We'll put a drill hole right up in here, put something on here, and this can hang from your tree. I don't have finish on this yet, so we'll see all that once we're done here. And I've got another way, excuse me, I have another way that we're going to go ahead and finish these up. So let me go ahead and get this put together, and we'll scroll saw this out. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. It's a pretty simple thing. I don't need to drill holes to cut any internal pieces out. It's just, we're just going to, go from the bottom, come around, and come back out, and we'll be done. All right, now remember, save all of these little pieces. We're going to use those later. But for this project, the first one, we just want this. All right, our next step, and this, again, these are entirely up to you as far as what size you're going to do these. Now this is about 3 1/4, because it's just the size of the fence picket that I used. You can design this however you want it to be as far as size. But again, this is going to hang as a Christmas ornament on a tree. So I didn't want it bigger than this, and this is almost getting on the point of being a little bit too large, possibly. But I'm committed to it at this point. What I've done next is I've taken the same fence picket, and I have just made a piece that when I put this at the tip of the roof here, it's going to give a little bit of an overhang. And I'm going to glue those all on. Once that is dry and completely solid on there, then I take this to my belt sander. You can use an orbital sander. You can cut it with a bandsaw, with a scroll saw, a hand saw, whatever. Then I just cut it so that it fits. It's nice and smooth across here. Then what I've done is I've taken and I've cut some more pieces that will fit like so that when we put them here, it's going to hang over at the top, and then it's going to hang over the same amount right down here. And then lastly, we cut out a piece like this, and this is our base. And you're just going to eyeball this. Now, if you want exact sizes on these things, let me know. I'll give you my exact sizes that I have. If you want them, let me know in the comments. I'll give you these sizes. But again, all I did is after I cut out this, and again, this is, as I said, random. You do it how you want. Then I just cut these so they look good. And that's all there is to it. Like this here. Now, if you don't like it, how it overhangs on the edges, you can do it right exactly up to the lines. You can do it straight across here so there's no overhang in the front, but I just liked it so it looks like it's sitting on a base like so. So hopefully you guys will see how this one works. It's pretty simple. That's all there is to this. You just sand it down. Once it's all put together, this is what you've got. And I think these look really awesome. This doesn't have a finish yet. I'll show you that at the end. You'll get to see how it looks completely finished. I did do some light sanding, so there's no rough edges here. I'm keeping this natural look here. You just don't want somebody to get splinters or hurt themselves on these. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting these together so that you can then now see what those are going to look like complete. You're going to want to make sure that after you've cut these little pieces out, like all of these little chunks, just take and, like I said, I sanded them. I mentioned it. Just get the rough stuff off of here before you put it together. It's much easier to do it prior to gluing it up. And then I just do a light sand across the front. Now again, this piece was already pre-sanded. I kind of gently sanded it with my orbital, not getting rid of everything. You do want to be careful. Little tiny pieces like this could break off, so watch yourself when you're doing those. I speak from experience, and I'm sure you'll find out your own way what little pieces can break off if you're getting too rough with it. So, and that's all there is to it. Get all those pieces sanded and glue them up. All right, so you can see I have the roof complete on all of these right here. You'll notice that some of these have more of an overhang. That's okay. It gives it a kind of more of a rustic feel. You, again, have the ability to make these your own. You can make these all exactly the same. You can use different types of wood, cherry or walnut, and not make them look so rustic. This project's really good for modifying however you want to do it. And it's a great project to batch out, as you can see. I've got some holiday craft shows coming up, and I'm hoping that these are going to be big sellers. Maybe by the time this comes out, I'll have an idea, and I can let you know how it all went. But here's what we've got so far. All that's left now is once these roofs have dried, I will be putting the bases on like so, and these are done. I'll do a light sand again once it's all put together, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a finish on it, just a polyurethane, polyacrylic, probably a matte. Some of these, I think what I'll be doing is I'll do a white dry brush on the whole thing just to give it a different look. But there it is. This one's pretty much in the books. So let me start showing you how the other one works, and we'll come back to this. So what I've got here is a really nice old fence picket. And this is what we're going to cut out of it. I've just made a template for a cross, and we're going to cut it at this angle. And yes, I do want these pieces overhanging because it's going to sit upright on a base. And you'll see that in just a moment. I've gone ahead and just taken my orbital and kind of cleaned that up just a little bit. Again, leaving it in this rough, rustic kind of farmhouse look. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these crosses cut out, and we'll move on to the next part of using all of these little scrap pieces that are left over from the other one. All right, so I've got the cross cut out on here, as you can see, hopefully. I'm going to cut this out on the bandsaw. Again, also what I did is, you can see I cut all of these. I just used a jigsaw to cut these down to size. I ended up with 7 of these from that 6-foot fence picket, and that's all I've got. I've got plenty more of the cutouts that I've got to make more, but I'm going to start with 7 because I don't know how these are going to sell. But again, I'm batching, so I might as well do them all at the same time, save some time, and get more done, and hopefully make more money from it. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. I've got the crosses done. This is the base. This is just a piece of scrap wood I had. I took and ripped these down, and all I did was took my cross and set it on the piece. There was no real measurements going on here. I just wanted to make sure that it kind of fit and that it would hold the cross up just like that, so that it's at an angle. What we're going to do then is we're going to put this right inside here. That is our piece of scrap that we cut out from the first project. All that's left to do now, I need to sand all of this. The bases are all sanded. The cross needs sanded. The silhouette of Mary and Joseph need to be sanded. And lastly, I'm cutting out a star. And that's going to be placed right on the cross, right above the baby Jesus. So this is what we're making. Let me go ahead and get this cross cut out, and we'll start assembling these. All right, well, there's all the pieces that we need, only 4, to create this this final piece. These, of course, are the basically the trash from the first project we did, the ornament. Then we've cut out some stars, and this is just some super thin, maybe 1/4 inch plywood. This is just scrap wood. I just cut it into this shape. I rounded it off by sanding it that way. This, of course, is the cross. One end flat so that it'll sit down on that just nicely. This fits right inside of here, and the star will go right on top. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and paint these black so they're silhouette. I'm going to go ahead and paint this gold for the star, a yellow gold, and then this will remain wood and this will remain wood. And then I can get it all glued up, and then once that's all dry, we can go ahead and put something on it, whether I put a spray shellac or a spray polyurethane, I'm not sure yet. But let me go ahead and start painting. So we can see that we have the stars painted gold. They look pretty good. I have Mary and Joseph as silhouettes. And now let's go take a look at the main base. All right, there they all are, all put together. They're all on here. So we can see they're glued down, looking pretty good. Now here are these. These are done. I did whitewash a couple of them. These do have polyacrylic on them, a matte polyacrylic. And then all I need to do next is put I'm going to put a little eyelet in here so that these can hang from the tree. These are done. Those are complete, ready to go. These, as you can see, I don't have I have to wait until all the paint dries, and then I can go ahead and glue those up and get those complete. And then they just need to have a finish put on them, and this will be done. So let's come back and take a look. There we go. These are all done, except for the finish. I'm going to go ahead and put some polyacrylic satin on them to give them a nice soft look. I've already double checked everything, made sure my edges are smooth enough that nobody is going to get a splinter when I pick this thing up. But I'll go ahead and let Let me go ahead and get that polyacrylic on there and I'll show you the final result, and then a couple of other options that we can do with these as well. There we go. Both projects, both finished. And again, these are going to be ornaments for on a tree, and these can be placed on a table, a desk, wherever you wish, shelves. And there you have it. No waste from this one because we cut that centerpiece out, as you saw. We're using the scrap piece right inside of there. So very happy. I hope you guys give this one a shot. It's a great way to use up your scrap wood and have very little waste. It's pretty nice. See you at the next one. Okay, there they are. They're finished. This is what they look like. But let's add something to this to help make these things stand out. So I went ahead and put one of those battery-powered votive candles back there, and it allows it to shine from behind and make it stand out a little better. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Hopefully you go ahead and give this thing a try. I had a lot of fun doing this and making these, and we'll see. I got a craft show coming up this weekend, and hopefully they're hits. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you like, subscribe, all that other good fun stuff, and I will see you on the next video.